Hello, you're watching Shalom World News. I'm Donna Villa coming to you from Chicago, USA. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. The Holy See Press Office has announced that Pope Francis will not be presiding over Corpus Christi Mass and the Eucharistic Procession because of knee pain. For the past few weeks, the pain has aggravated, forcing the 85-year-old pontiff to use a wheelchair during public appearances. The past 2 years had no processions during Corpus Christi because of the pandemic curbs. Holy Mass was also celebrated at St. Peter's Basilica with a limited number of believers. This year, the solemnity of Corpus Christi falls tomorrow, Thursday, June 16, but in some dioceses, it has been moved to Sunday, June 19. Traditionally, the Pope celebrates Corpus Christi Mass at the courtyard of the Basilica of St. John Lateran in Rome, with a procession going all the way to the Basilica of Maria Maggiore. The Catholic bishops of USA appealed for peace as the attacks on churches and pro-life clinics are intensifying across the country. On behalf of the prelates, a statement was issued by Cardinal Timothy Dolan of New York, chair of the Committee on Religious Liberty of the U.S. Episcopate, and Archbishop William Lori of Baltimore, who chairs the Committee on Pro-Life Activities. In the statement, the bishops urged elected officials to take a strong stand against the attacks on churches and pro-life establishments and provide security cover. They said that for 2 years, churches have been attacked and vandalized at an alarming rate. Since the leak of the draft document of Supreme Court judges in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization lawsuit last month, the attacks have increased. The two bishops pointed out that charities supporting pregnant mothers have been firebombed and pro-life outfits are being attacked on a daily basis. Yet again, the African nation of Burkina Faso has witnessed another carnage. Over the weekend, armed men unleashed violence in a town bordering Niger in the north, leaving at least 100 dead. Reuters quoted a security source as saying that the assailants targeted only men, sparing children and women in Seitenga. Although no group has claimed responsibility, there are chances that Islamist insurgents could be behind the mayhem. In the border areas of Burkina Faso, armed outfits linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State have been wreaking havoc since 2015. In the attack, at least 3,000 people have fled to Duri, the capital of the Sahel region. On Monday, June 13, the United Nations condemned the carnage and urged authorities to bring the perpetrators to justice. The Catholic Archbishop of Abuja in Nigeria has said that the people of God will continue to worship in public despite persistent attacks on Christians. Archbishop Ignatius Kegama made the statement while preaching the homily on June 12 during Confirmation Mass at the parish of St. Augustine. As many as 614 candidates received the sacrament of confirmation that day in the church, which is located in Datsi, Sangbayi. The prelate said that believers must remain steadfast in the faith. The prelate also made a reference to the recent attacks that targeted Catholics, including the Pentecost Sunday massacre in a church in Ondo State that left at least 50 dead. He said, quote, "It should be clear that nothing will stop us worshiping God and speaking the truth," end quote. The Archbishop also expressed hope that the religious leaders of the country will one day come together and unmask the perpetrators of violence. A terminally ill transitional deacon from the tiny communist-ruled Southeast Asian country of Laos was ordained in a hospital in Manila, Philippines on Monday, June 13. Suffering from cancer of the spinal cord, transitional deacon Kamsan Kuntichak received ordination in his hospital bed at 8:30 local time from Bishop Rolando Santos. The Filipino prelate, who belongs to the Vincentian congregation, is the bishop of the Diocese of Alutao-Sedea in Papua New Guinea. Newly ordained Father Kamsan earlier served as a lay evangelist back in his home country, where there are only 60,000 Catholics out of a population of 7.2 million. In 2018, he enrolled at St. Vincent's School of Theology in Manila to become a priest. Last month, he was about to graduate when he was diagnosed with final stage cancer. Despite his failing health, he still persevered to become a priest. This prompted his bishop to allow him to receive ordination from his sickbed. The new priest was also given his graduation certificate on the occasion. In the state of California here in the U.S., the Catholic Conference has opposed the bid to amend the Constitution to enshrine the most extreme forms of abortion. In a statement issued on June 9th, Conference reiterated church teachings that life must be protected at all stages. The conference also said that the language in the Senate Constitutional Amendment 10, introduced a day earlier, is unrestrictive. It said in the statement that the amendment encouraging late-term abortion, which most Californians oppose. It also says that the amendment, which will be put to vote in November, legalizes abortion up to the point prior to delivery. The conference likewise deplored the fact that California already has some of the most accommodating abortion laws in America. After a gap of 2 years, the Archdiocese of Brasilia in Brazil, the country with the largest number of Catholics, will host the Corpus Christi Procession this week. This year, the Mass and the procession of the Solemnity of Corpus Christi will take place in the Esplanade of Ministries in the nation's capital on June 16. Archbishop of Brasilia, Dom Paulo Cesar, has invited all believers to come to the Esplanade to take part in the great feast of the Eucharist. Young believers will prepare the carpet on which the procession with the Blessed Sacrament will be held. The Archbishop and clergy will process from the cathedral to the venue of Mass at 4:45 p.m. After the Mass, the Eucharistic Procession will take place. The Pope Mobile, used by Pope St. John Paul II during his Brazil visit, will be used to take the Blessed Sacrament in the procession. The President-elect of the Philippines, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., has expressed his desire to cooperate closely with the Catholic Church in the country. He expressed this wish to Apostolic Nuncio Archbishop Charles Brown when they met on June 10. Archbishop Brown said, quote, "We had a very productive, encouraging, and positive discussion," end quote. The Archbishop said this in an interview with Radio Veritas 846. The nuncio said Marcos Jr. assured him of his desire to collaborate closely with the Holy See as well. On the same day the nuncio met the President-elect, other envoys also paid their courtesies to him. Last month, Catholic Church groups in the Philippines expressed willingness to engage in principled cooperation with the Marcos administration. On May 26, Social Arm of Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines said it will exercise principled cooperation with Marcos. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us tomorrow. In the meantime, you can visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.